All right, let's do this. We're going to try and tackle the impossible today, the entire story of Dragon Ball from the 90s. We're talking the whole shebang, from the very first wish to the very last goodbye. It's a wild ride packed with aliens, tournaments, and an amount of screaming that should honestly be illegal. So let's just dive right in. And this quote? Yeah, this pretty much sums it all up, doesn't it? The whole epic saga started with Akira Toriyama, a guy who just really loved poop jokes and somehow managed to create one of the biggest franchises on the planet. And that's kind of the secret sauce, right? This mix of universe-ending stakes and super lowbrow humor. Okay, so let's start at the beginning, the very beginning. This is where it all started, as this kind of whimsical adventure story, loosely based on the classic Journey to the West. Except, Toriyama's version has way more sci-fi capsules and, yeah, dinosaurs that can talk. Seriously, the beginning moves at a breakneck pace. You've got Goku, this kid with a monkey tail who runs into Bulma, who's this super smart tech genius. They're on a quest for 7 magical Dragon Balls. And on the way, they just casually meet a shape-shifting pig, a desert bandit named Yamcha, and the one and only Master Roshi. They take down an evil emperor, Goku turns into a giant freaking ape, a wish gets made, and then poof, everyone splits up. It's a lot to take in. And believe me, we are just warming up. And this is really where the show has its first big identity crisis. It kicks off as this goofy adventure comedy, but Toriyama pivots pretty quickly. The gags start to fade into the background, and it becomes all about martial arts and world-ending threats. All of a sudden, the Dragon Balls aren't for, silly wishes anymore. Nope. Now they're basically the only thing that keeps our heroes from being, permanently dead. So that brings us to what I like to call the tournament era. This is where the show really hits its stride and finds its groove. The formula gets super clear. Train like crazy, go show off your moves at the big tournament, get rudely interrupted by some new, even bigger bad guy, save the world, and then do it all over again. It's a simple loop, but man, it works. Yeah, the Tenkaichi Budokai, the World Martial Arts Tournament, it becomes the main stage. It's where Goku gets a really important lesson smacked into him. No matter how strong you are, there's always someone stronger. I mean, he loses his very first tournament to his own master wearing a wig. And of course, this is where Yamcha begins his legendary tradition of, making it to the quarterfinals and then immediately getting knocked out. Every single time. Poor guy. And the power creep, it gets insane right here. Our heroes go from fighting, other martial artists to fighting a literal demon king. King Piccolo breaks out, starts killing off main characters, bye-bye Krillin, and even successfully uses the Dragon Balls to wish for eternal youth. Goku does manage to stop him, but not before Piccolo spits out an egg that hatches his own reincarnation. And yep, that little guy grows up to be the grumpy green dad figure we all know and love. Okay, seriously, buckle up. This is the moment everything flips on its head. The show slaps a Z on the end of its name, and the story goes from being about Earth to being about, the entire galaxy. And it all kicks off with one single, massive reveal. And here it is, the game changer. Goku, he's an alien, a warrior from the super powerful race called the Saiyans. This little fun fact is dropped on us by his long-lost, super evil brother, Raditz, who literally just shows up to kidnap his own nephew, Gohan. The only way they can win is for Goku to die, holding Raditz still while Piccolo charges up a laser beam to kill them both. And with his last breath, Raditz is like, by the way, 2 more Saiyans, way stronger than me, are coming in a year. Good luck. The countdown has begun. And this right here, this becomes the engine that drives all of Dragon Ball Z. The threats just get bigger and bigger at a frankly ridiculous speed. I mean, think about it. First you have Raditz, who's a threat to basically one small farm. A year later, Vegeta shows up, and he can blow up the entire planet. A few weeks after that, they're on another planet fighting Frieza, a dude who runs a galactic empire. It's just a nonstop, head-spinning race to the top of the power level charts. So, to bring everyone back to life, the gang heads to Piccolo's home planet, Namek, to find their Dragon Balls. The problem? Vegeta and the tyrant Frieza are already there, trying to do the same thing. What happens next is this super long, super brutal saga where, let's be honest, pretty much everyone dies at least one time. But it all builds to this one legendary moment. Frieza kills Krillin. Again. And Goku just snaps. He explodes in a fit of rage and becomes the legendary Super Saiyan. Chills every time. Now Frieza's gone, so you'd think they could finally chill out for a bit, right? Wrong. So wrong. The next big bad doesn't come from outer space. Nope.
This one comes from right here on Earth. Sort of. It's a mix of a ghost from the past and a warning from a really, really dark future. So this kid with purple hair, Trunks, shows up from the future. He warns everyone about these killer androids made by the old Red Ribbon Army. And this whole arc introduces a super convenient plot device, the hyperbolic time chamber. It's a room where you can get a year's worth of training done in a single day, which makes you wonder, right? Why didn't they just use this when the Saiyans were on their way? And the real answer is because the writers hadn't thought of it yet. Simple as that.
This whole saga is also the perfect example of something we call power cliffing. Basically, the new bad guys, the androids and then Cell, are just so ridiculously overpowered that characters who used to be a big deal, like Tien or Kyatsu, are suddenly completely useless. This is the point where the B team officially becomes the full-time cheerleading squad. The final boss of this arc is Cell. He's this bio-android made from the DNA of all the best fighters. After he slurps up androids 17 and 18, he becomes Perfect Cell. And what does he do? He decides to host his own martial arts tournament, the Cell Games. But here's the twist. The big finale isn't about Goku saving the day. It's all about his son, Gohan. Cell pushes him way too far, he finally snaps, unlocks Super Saiyan 2, and just completely vaporizes the guy. All right, fast forward 7 years, and now we're in the last and maybe the weirdest saga of Dragon Ball Z. The stakes have never been higher, the main villain is a big pink blob who literally turns people into candy, and the new transformations, they just get wild. The Buu saga is just pure chaos, so let's just try to break it down. An ancient pink monster, Majin Buu, gets woken up. Vegeta has a full-on midlife crisis, gets a power-up, fights Goku, and then blows himself up trying to stop Buu, which doesn't work. Goku shows off Super Saiyan 3, which looks awesome, but lasts about 5 minutes. Everybody learns the silly fusion dance. Buu eats pretty much everyone, and in the end, the whole thing gets resolved with a giant spirit bomb. It's a hot mess, but man, what an epic mess it is. So, the manga's over. The story should have ended right there. But, Dragon Ball Z was a massive hit, a money-printing machine. And the animation studio Toei, they like money a lot. So what did they do? They made their own sequel without the original creator and called it Dragon Ball GT. So GT starts by turning Goku back into a little kid and sending him on a space treasure hunt. Yeah, and it leads to some, let's just call them weird villains. I mean, they fight capitalist robots, some guy with a whip, a team of posing androids. It's all over the place. Eventually, a real threat shows up. This parasite named Baby, who's got a serious grudge against all Saiyans. Now, GT is probably most famous, or infamous, for its big transformation, Super Saiyan 4. And how do you get there? Well, it's a journey. First, they pull Goku's tail back out with a pair of pliers. I'm not kidding. Then he looks at the Earth, not the moon, the Earth, and turns into a giant golden ape. Once he gets control of himself, he shrinks down into this final form, red fur, eyeliner, the whole shebang. It's a look, for sure. The last part of GT actually has a really cool idea. The thing that's always been their get-out-of-jail-free card, the Dragon Balls themselves, they become the final villains. Turns out, using them over and over again has built up all this negative energy, and it spawns 7 evil dragons. Each one is based on a wish made in the past. It's actually a pretty clever way to bring the whole story full circle. But even with some neat ideas, GT has one huge problem. It doesn't matter who the villain is or how strong someone like Vegeta gets. At the end of the day, the answer is always, always Goku. Everyone else is just there to cheer him on. That's why people joke that GT doesn't stand for Grand Tour. Nah, it stands for Goku time. The very last fight is against the baddest of the Shadow Dragons, Omega Shenron. And for a minute, we get the ultimate fusion, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. But even that isn't enough. So how does it end? With the classic move that solves everything. The Spirit Bomb. Only this time, it's a universal Spirit Bomb, with energy from everyone in the entire galaxy. One last, giant, world-saving energy ball.
And that's it. That's where the 90s story ends. The world is saved, but then Shenron, the Eternal Dragon, just appears on his own. He says the Dragon Balls have to go away for a while. And then, in this really weird, quiet moment, Goku just hops on his back. As they fly off, the Dragon Balls get absorbed into Goku's body, and he vanishes. It's such a strange, mysterious ending that leaves you with this huge question. Where in the world did he go? What did any of that mean? And honestly, fans would be debating that for years to come.